Hello everyone, my name is Jorge Diaz, President and Founder of Larry Jacob Internet Marketing and an Infusionsoft Certified Consultant. I'm bringing you another episode of How Do You Define Infusionsoft Success? This week my guest is Jay Rice. He is the President and Founder, I'm assuming you're President and Founder, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, of ThinkingChat. We met at Icon. So a couple weeks back, I'm walking around the area of Icon where they've got the Battle of the Apps folks, and I run into him and his partner, and they're showing off their virtual automated attendant. I mean, probably I haven't described it correctly, but it's a way of getting a person chat box opened up without having to have a person in there. So he's got a scripting system that's behind that to make the thing behave like a human being might. And I signed up for their $1 free trial, and I'm actually using it for a few things. So I told Jay, Jay, I got to get you on one of our episodes because this is an application I'm sure a lot of people have an interest in. So Jay, why don't you introduce, well, first of all, welcome. Thank you for joining me today.
Thanks, appreciate it.
We also found out that we have female daughters in common. He's got 2, I've got 3, so more power to you, Jay. I know how that goes. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into this, so the people listening can kind of just understand more about, how you came to be.
Yeah, sure. So I guess I'll try and make a long story short, but I've been in high-tech marketing and sales for quite some time, and I was in an industry called industrial imaging, and basically I ran the U.S. division of a Dutch company. So these were cameras for robotics, they were cameras for what's called machine vision systems, military systems, and so I was the CEO of their U.S. division. So basically I started out, and it was, I'll tell you a quick funny story. So I started out, and it was essentially just me, okay? And these guys wanted to grow this division, and they had a business in place, but it was really like an outside salesperson, and it was like a few $100,000 a year in sales. So I became the CEO, and it was just me. I started a spare bedroom of my house, and the funny part is, I can remember being so excited, like sharing it with my dad. I was like, "Hey, check this out!" I had a business card, President, CEO, and my dad's like, "Yeah, but it's just you." Thanks, Dad.
Yeah,
but anyway,
it's a little harder to impress sometimes.
Yeah, no, but the good news is that over the course of about 5 years, I grew that business from low 6 figures to mid 7 figures by just focusing on marketing, business development. I put a team in place, so that was a great entrepreneurial journey. But then the business changed, so they actually had a different global CEO. And even though I had all the stuff that I had done, we were at a run rate for about $7 million a year. There was corporate politics going on, and I was never into corporate politics. I didn't even know they were going on. I mean, right. So I had a bad experience there. I left there, and I always wanted to have my own company. So my grandfather was an entrepreneur that inspired me. I'd studied entrepreneurs, Steve Jobs, and other tech entrepreneurs. So I always want to have my own business.
Yeah, corporate America has a way of creating entrepreneurs out of us. I've got my story as well. So.
Absolutely, yeah, it really does, and I had done entrepreneurial things inside of corporate America. I mean, I had traded semiconductors on a trading floor, all this other stuff, but I didn't have like something that was my own. So I found out about, again, I'll try to make this long story short. I found out about a German company that wanted to grow in the U.S. So I set up a company, a C Corp, and had them as my first investor. So I launched a business, and I was selling the same type of products that I had grown from the other business.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And yeah, so I was able to grow that business within 3 years to a 7-figure business as well. So that was, in a really tough economy, as you know, like 2009, 2011. But along the way, as like most entrepreneurs, I came to a point where I had to hire people, and I already had staff. I had, business development. I had operations people, and hiring an engineer was a huge expense. I mean, for this very specialized industry, you can imagine, it's like $100K per year or more. So you hire this person, they work for 6 months, and then they leave in an average of 18 months, or they get up to speed. It takes 6 months to get up to speed, and they leave in an average of 18 months. So it's a huge investment. So I started thinking, if I could only come up with a way to just help these customers who are asking me these repeat questions. So I did a knowledge base, and I did a bunch of stuff for the Infusionsoft. That was also part of the story too, is that I had set up Infusionsoft.
So you were using Infusionsoft in this business?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, back in 2010, I implemented Infusionsoft, and the funny thing was, what I did, George, was I created personas for people. Okay, essentially a virtual staff. So these people did not exist, but I did copywriting into their persona, and I tracked the open rates of these different avatars, I guess you'd call it, personas. And did you ever read any books by Ayn Rand?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so if your audience out there has ever read Ayn Rand, there's a famous character called John Galt. So that was one of my, and I was selling to engineers, so people, that name resonated with them. So I would write in that voice, and John had great open rates, and so I would have John, and then I would have Jennifer, and I would have then I would have myself, and then the other members of my team. So the great thing about it is, using Infusionsoft, people would respond to these emails. But the downside was, if it was a technical question, and I'm not an engineer by training, but if it was, and this was hardware, if it was a technical question, I had to answer it. So again, I was sharing this, I was lamenting this with one of my mentors, and I made a joke. Well, what if I could clone myself, right? And so we started to think. So we had both been in software before. He was in software, and so we came up with this idea of artificial intelligence. Answering the questions, and so we started to build on that idea, back in like 2011, 12, and so then at that point, another thing happened in my business is that I had grown to 7 figures, but back when sequestration happened with military contracts being cut, those 7-figure contracts were actually cut. So in 2012, I had to scramble to learn SEO, video marketing, PPC, and I was able to get it all firing so that my niche B2B website was actually in the one of the top 100,000 most popular in the world, according to Alexa. So I was cranking in the traffic, but I was having a conversion problem. So these ideas started to come together, and so in 2013, I created this this idea and this concept. We had our first demo of a virtual agent that could sit on a website and answer questions, but look and feel like a real person.
Wow. Okay, that was a surprise. That wasn't something I knew. So okay, so you built it for your own purposes. And,
right.
I mean, for those of you that haven't seen this solution, I'm assuming that's a lot of you, it's basically what you expect when you go to a site. I mean, yesterday I was trying to get some pricing for one of our clients for Infusionsoft, and the minute you go to the Infusionsoft site, you get that little thing that shows up, and it's got a picture of a lady, and it's, hey, can I answer any questions? So, ThinkingChat does something like that, where it basically, matter of fact, you can control where it shows up, but you put somebody's face on it, and it's, hey, can I help you? Or you start a dialogue with the person visiting your site, right?
Exactly right. So I was using this for in-house use, and one of the things that really helped was, if you can imagine, if these folks who are listening, I know that there's this talk about funnels and how important funnels are. Well, we all know as marketers that not every lead that goes into the funnel is a quality lead. So if we can kick out bad leads before they ever get into the funnel, we can actually have a better funnel. We can compress our whole funnel in our sales cycle. And there's actually a great website out there called forentrepreneurs.com.
How do you spell that? F-O-R or F-O-U-R?
Yeah, it's just forentrepreneurs.com, and it's a venture capitalist out my way. And there's a fantastic piece that he does on customer acquisition cost. And what he talks about is that, so think about it like this. If you have an online business, right, and have you heard of the term touchless conversion?
Yeah, I've heard of it, yeah.
Yeah, so for your audience, so basically touchless conversion is, for many businesses, nirvana. So what that means is somebody goes to a website and no human is involved, but the visitor converts to a paying customer. So a perfect example of this is Amazon. Okay, another perfect example is eBay. Like, when's the last time you bought at Amazon and talked to somebody? Yeah. It doesn't happen, right? Yeah, so that's why
with the Prime guys, you can actually see a delivery guy.
Yeah. It's funny. They have now so much cash that they actually can open up stores to sell their excess inventory. But the way that they got there and the way that their prices are so low is that they cut out rungs of the customer acquisition cost ladder. So if you go to this website, and he talks about it, and I just know this from experience as well, is that every rung of this ladder of customer acquisition cost adds more cost and takes away your profit. So it's hitting you in the wallet. And so this is what happens. So if you can imagine the stuff that I was selling, which was like, infrared cameras, military cameras, really long sales cycle. I used to call it death by 1,000 questions, right? So it was a killer. So basically, what happened was these sales cycles go so long, and every business has this in some way, shape, or form. And so basically, if you can start to reduce that customer acquisition cost, you can increase your profit significantly. So anyway, the long story short is that in 2014, I had it live on my site for my other business, and one of the first questions that I would have this artificial intelligence agent ask people is, are you in the United States? Because over 50% of our traffic was actually from outside the United States, and I was selling controlled military product that was regulated by the Department of State, so I could not even talk to somebody outside the United States about it. So all those people that used to clog up my Infusionsoft funnel or download my data sheets and magnets, I would not even get them into my funnel. So my whole funnel was better because the agent would say, because if they said no, we'd kick them out. Yeah. Well, and the agent would say, sorry, we can't help you.
Yeah, and by the way, what was the other guy that was with you at the booth? I always forget his name.
Akshay.
Yeah, with Akshay and I, at the booth, they were actually setting up my, chat person. And my first question was, do you own Infusionsoft? Because if they already owned Infusionsoft, they would actually go into another funnel, and the program I was trying to run was, how do I get people to buy Infusionsoft licenses from me? So, by having the person start the conversation and already pushing it in one direction, it makes interacting with a human being, from this artificial intelligence perspective, a little smoother.
Exactly right. So it's able to qualify. So, in 2014, when I put it live on another site that was an external site, within 90 days, that site, which was selling high-end microscope systems, the agent on that site captured a lead from Apple Computer at headquarters in Cupertino, and it resulted in a sale for over $74,000 for an advanced microscope system. Wow. And so I already didn't really like the camera business because it was more photonics and all that stuff, and I'm more into software and web technology. So I decided to sell the business. So along between 2014 and 2015, end of 2015, I had gotten customers for ThinkingChat just by word of mouth and referral. But then finally, I sold my other business in 2015. Completed the sale of that business. I sold it using an Infusionsoft funnel, which is a whole other story. But then I spun the IP out of that business and basically launched ThinkingChat officially as a standalone.
Right. So when did you guys open up shop?
Well, as I said, it's 2013 is when it started. I have an S corp that owns ThinkingChat as a wholly owned entity. The S corp has actually started in 2008, but back last fall, I was able to devote full time to ThinkingChat. So.
Oh, okay. So just like within the last 6 months. I tell you what, I'm constantly impressed because the same is true. I had never heard of Wicked reports, and these were people that were right there in the same section of the IT.
Yeah, good guys. Yeah.
And they came on to, they started about a year ago. Same is true. One of the other guys that's been on my program, Adrian Savage, who does the We Deliver solution. He came onto the scene at Icon last year. So in this Infusionsoft tribe of our community, you have all these new players showing up constantly, and it's the reason why I think everything's so vibrant, because someone will find a hole, or a niche that's underserved, and frankly, I haven't heard of any automated attendant solutions that are Infusionsoft compatible. You jumped on it, and my hat goes on to you because you guys were right there at the booth. You were setting up my guy, and I put my wife's picture because she's kind of our back office person, and she's asking questions to people, trying to see if we can get them into our sales funnel.
Yeah, exactly. It's really, from what I've seen, for sites with traffic, and we're now in multiple verticals. The thing to think about is a couple things to think about. So, and really, believe me, it's been hard to distill the elevator pitch and the benefit statements because of the fact that it's a little bit new. But so essentially for your audience, just to clarify, what we have is an automated agent for your website. It's using artificial intelligence to look and feel like a live person chatting with visitors on your site. And it's not a live person. There's no live chat happening. It just appears to be. And what the agent is able to do, your agent, which you tailor to suit your business, what the agent is able to do is ask qualifying questions to your website visitor and then let them know at a certain point that the right member of the team will follow up with them. And all of the information that that agent captures is then sent to you for follow-up or put into Infusionsoft. So, yeah, I mean, what we've seen is that...
Or both, because I was getting messages on my phone.
Yeah.
And, and it also ended up as a lead on my in my funnel.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, Infusionsoft is fantastic. I mean, the people who are on this, who've had Infusionsoft or ICPs, they know that, I mean, it's hard. It's often hard to explain what's different from Infusionsoft from like MailChimp or whatever. And sometimes it's hard. There's like nuances. But if, you know, all the people who are on this call who know Infusionsoft, who've set it up and it's working well for them, they know that the magic happens when you capture the lead. So from us, from the ThinkingChat side, we just help you capture more leads, so you have more people in the Infusionsoft funnel to begin with.
Right,
so your agent is...
I mean, you were showing me the first question. You're saying, hey, in order to help you best, you can give me your name and email address, which I think...
Yeah, exactly.
And then you guys have now a feature where you can ask that farther down in the question, right?
Right. Yeah, that was another thing from Icon. So most of our customers, you know, they ask right away name and email, but we've had some people who wanted to do it at the end, and you can do it at the end too. So that's fine.
So the person shows up, starts asking you a question, you know, and at some point there's a departure question. Hey, thank you so much. I'm going to have the right person or organization get back to you. In order to do that, can I have your, you know, name, email, phone number? And that's your lead capture, which I just thought was, boy, what a great idea.
Yeah, cool. So so there's a couple things happening here too that are a little bit, I guess, subtle that I'll also just mention. I mean, the first and foremost thing, and for marketers out there, I mean, they know instinctively that conversion rate is bad. I mean, conversion rate is typically less than 5%. A lot of times it's only 1%. So what we're doing is we're just helping increase the odds that you're going to actually get more people engage with this agent, which is more leads. So you're getting leads that you normally wouldn't. And a lot of people out there, and you know, I use this analogy at the trade show, but a lot of people out there, you know, are reliant on their contact us forms, you know, and whatever, you know, Infusionsoft-driven forms. And those are most visitors to a site. That's like the last resort. They think it's like, you know, a black hole. They don't want to put much information, or you know. Right? I mean, so what we're able to do is just get more. So it's not really about like having an aimless chat, and it's not like it's not Siri level intelligence for $200 a month. But what it's able to do is pretty powerful, and that is capture that visitor information. So you're capturing more visitors than you normally would that are now leads, and you're able to actually get qualified leads. You're able to actually can and clone your best responses to given questions that you would get, and kind of direct that visitor, and then thank them for, you know, coming to the site, and then let them know. And you can get their, you know, their email, their phone number, their urgency level, their interest, you know, what they're interested in, and you know, even give them pricing information or find out their budget. I mean, it's like endless. But the thing is that you now actually tell the visitor that somebody from our team will follow up with you, and you give them a time range. So many subtle things are happening here. One is that the agent is telling the person, usually right up front, hey, I'm not the expert, but I'm here to help, and I'll help get your information to the right member of our team. Right. So that kind of puts, it kind of puts people at ease.
And it personalizes it, because there's,
exactly.
You know, I go to a website, and I mean, matter of fact, I mean, we're web developers, and so my picture reluctantly is right at the front, because I want it to be more than just this corporation. I want it to be a person. But this one-ups that, because now you've got what appears to be a human being involved. And as a matter of fact, you were joking with me. He goes, by the way, you can actually just admit up front, hey, I'm a virtual assistant. I'm not real, but I'm here to help you. And even that is kind of a little bit of a novelty until, I guess, this becomes so much more widespread.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, there's some funny stories. So we have one of the, one of our verticals, we're in a martial arts studio here in the Boston area. And this is a really good agent, because this martial arts school is doing a whole range of things. I know this guy from jiu-jitsu. I was into jiu-jitsu training. So he's doing a special kind of jiu-jitsu that we used to do, which is small circle jiu-jitsu. He's doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu. He's doing Thai boxing. He's doing kids programs, and he's doing a fitness class. So, and I think a couple of other things too. So when the agent comes up, it's called the virtual sensei, and it has a cartoon image of this guy. And it's really funny. He's like bald. He's got a goatee. He looks just like Matt Fury, if anybody knows Matt Fury. So it's very distinct. And so the agent comes up, and it's virtual sensei Rick. And people engage with this thing. And so so when they first enter something in, like it'll say, the agent will say, I'm virtual sensei Rick. I might not have all the answers, but I'll help you the best I can to get the right member of our team to follow up what brought you to defensive edge today. And then someone will say, I'm looking for something for my daughter or for my kid. And what we do, as you know, George, is we trigger off of keywords. So it's keyword or phrase driven. And so if the words are kids, son, daughter, child, the agent will say, great, we have fantastic programs for kids starting at age 4. We do bully proofing in a safe environment. What else would you like to know? And so it goes into this whole dialogue. But the funny thing is that he didn't tell his wife that this was on his site. And his wife came to the site a couple months ago. And the agent was engaging with his wife. And his wife's like, Rick, no, you don't understand. I just want to know if you're going to pick up our kids.
Okay.
I don't want to know about a program for kids. I want you to pick up our kids. Are you going to pick them up? And it's like,
she was thinking it was Rick, and
yeah, and so there's a reveal in his agent. There's a reveal that says, hey, I'm based on artificial intelligence. So we're going to have someone follow up with you. But
very good. Yeah. Well, I tell you what, I think a lot of people, unless you went to that area, there were people that I was walking around the Icon show. I go, hey, have you seen that ThinkingChat thing? Because I had just bought it. And they said, no, I haven't. As a matter of fact, there was a guy, a photographer, that I think moved ahead with you guys.
Delane. Thank you. Oh, if that came from you, then we owe you one. He is crushing it now. He's got so many. Delane, yeah.
Delane. And he was going, oh, this is perfect, because he basically has studios all over the country, and so that makes a lot of sense. But not everybody got a chance to go to your corner of the show floor. So hopefully we can get the word out to more people. Hey, so tell us, because I want to make sure that people can get a hold of you. How do they get a hold of you? And then you were going to mention that you guys have a partner program that's up and coming.
Yeah, absolutely. So our website is thinkingchat.com, and so you go to our site and you can see what we're all about. We've kept our trial open, which is it's like a no-brainer. It's $1 for 30 days to try this. So if you go to our website and you go product pricing, you can choose the agent that's right for you. So we have 3 agents. There are 2 that are on the $1 trial. So for most businesses, our pro agent, which is $150 a month, it's $149 a month, is basically right for most businesses. And you can try it for 30 days for $1. You can always upgrade to the elite agent if you wanted to, which is $299 a month. But it's $1 to try it, and we've got. It lets you set up your agent. It's a self-setup process at this point, but we also have a concierge system if you wanted to have some, assistance doing that. And the thing to keep in mind too, George, as I mentioned earlier, it's like sometimes people go to the site and they just try and be cute. They enter in weird things like, do you sell chicken or something like that when they converse with the agent. It's like at that point they've kind of missed the whole point that what you do is you tailor the agent for a particular business, for a particular industry. So it's not about like answering every question under the sun. It's more about asking qualifying questions from your agent and answering common questions from your agent. So anyway, so I just wanted to make sure people understand that.
You guys even have the ability, hey, where the agent can actually pop up yes or no buttons. So that, you guys had just a ton of options. I think that if you kind of get creative with it, it's something that a virtual agent could have if it was in a sophisticated system.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
From going wild with, free pros, right?
Yeah, exactly. The other thing is, kind of alluded to this, but in our elite agent, we have a variety of capture boxes. So they replace any type of pop-up. It's more of like an intelligent, what we call a bubble up. So we have lead bubbles and lead bars, we call them. And so you can capture emails there, so you can float offers, whether it's for a lead magnet or whatever, but you can vary them based on what the person is doing on your site. And it's just much more sophisticated than the typical, opt-in forms that just kind of annoy people, and things like that. But so it's $1 trial, and so the partner program, so we have like overwhelming response to from partners who, they want to set people up. We have one partner in the UK, for example, who have been sending us chiropractic clients and has had a ThinkingChat agent on our site for some time, loves it so much. Now, this is a marketer who has about 100 customers that pay him between $400 and $800 a month for his marketing advice, and he is now sponsoring all 100 customers to come and get ThinkingChat for free. So,
cool.
Yeah, and that happened like right before the show. So they're coming over onto our platform, and we have some other partners too that at various phases. So it's not official yet, but as far as like our formal plan, but we have partners, and we're excited to work with all kinds of partners. So we have two major silos of partnerships. One is the more hands-on partner who would actually be able to add the JavaScript to a site. And now that's simple for anybody out there listening typically. I mean, it goes on just like Google Analytics. But those kind of partners who are either building sites, or they're doing Infusionsoft implementations, or maybe they're hosting sites, that could get to know our dashboard a little bit and introduce us to a client. That's like our highest level of partner is that one. And then we have a simple referral program that if you wanted to just refer people over to it, we'll just give you an affiliate code, and we'll just you pay a commission when they come over.
Cool. Well, make sure that you send me an email with that information, because we'll publish that with the video blog, so that people have easy access to that information. But hey, Jay, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to meet with me. Again, I think it's a great solution. It's something that people need to know about, because right off you might say, oh, I don't need that, and then all of a sudden you run into a customer, or you come up with a new idea, and it's like, oh, I heard of that virtual assistant guy. So great. So thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Yeah, no, thanks for having me. And like that gentleman Delane said, it's like hiring a sales assistant for your website who works 24 hours a day for $150 a month. I mean, really. So it's more for any site that needs leads rather than any site that is thinking about live chat. So definitely encourage people to try it. And I mean, I'll even say just you can just email me. It's jrice@thinkingchat.com, JRICE@thinkingchat.com. I'm an entrepreneur, so we're out there building up, helping others work with our service so that they are able to see the power of it. And and we're building our tribe of raving fans, so we want to add to that. So thanks for having me on.
Great. Well, hey, have a great day.
You too. Take care.